What is good, guys, and welcome to my F1 2018 career mode here on Codemasters. This is brand new game F1 2018. So we're jumping straight in right now with the character design. I've chosen my avatar, I have chosen my helmet, doing a nice little number with the helmet right now, just changing things up, going for a nice green base with a lovely dark red detail and a black second detail. And I ain't gonna lie, I kinda like the look of that helmet. Hopefully you guys enjoy that helmet as well, because I think it looks absolutely sick. So that is going to be my helmet. Now going into the nationality, usually I go Welsh, but I've gone British this time. And when it came to picking my driving number, I decided to go with my age. I honestly did. Decided to go with my age, 25, which might be my number when it comes to AOR, but we'll see. Typing in my name and that right now, Michael Edwards. Yep, there we go. Abbreviated 3 letters, it's EDW for Edwards, and I'm one of the lucky YouTubers who actually guess his name in the game. There are a couple of bigger YouTubers whose names are not in the game, but mine is. I wanted to see if they had Michael in there, but they didn't, so we'll just have to settle for Edwards, and that is my character. Now moving on to which team I'm going to be driving for. Now honestly, last year's game I drove for Renault and they're kind of pushing towards the front, but I wanted like a back of the midfield type team, so I was torn between Toro Rosso and Force India, but after much consideration I decided to go with Force India because I can kind of bring them forward, and with my teammate is going to be Sergio Perez. But let's get down to meeting our agent.
Thanks for coming by. I'm sure you're very anxious to get out on track. It's taken a lot of effort to get to F1. Congratulations. But the real work starts now. This is
Claire, motorsports journalist. Nice to meet you. You'll be seeing quite a lot of me throughout the season. So, you had a pretty impressive junior career. How are you feeling about your move into F1? Do you think you have what it takes?
Let's save the questions for a proper interview, shall we? I'm sure you'll have a lot more to talk about once there's been some action on track. I think we could fit you in after FP1 if you're free.
That works for me. I'll grab you the second you finish on the track.
Remember, the relationship you have with the team can be affected by what you say to the media, so be careful. Anyway, it's time to catch up with Carl. He's waiting for you in the data center. Good luck out there today.
Welcome to the data center. Here, we've got access to all kinds of information, including car telemetry, weather, lap times, tyre wear, the list goes on. Plus, we've got a direct link back to the factory, so we're in constant communication with the team there. We need you to regularly feedback about areas of the car that are lacking and help us direct our resources in the most productive way. More effort here equals a quicker car, so it's well worth the effort. Good luck this season. Oh, and make us all look good, okay?
Welcome to your new team. Force India have spent the last 10 years or so building themselves up from a backmarker to a very real force to be reckoned with. They're ambitious and resourceful, and they'll expect you to be the same.
Okay, so we just met up with Emma, our agent, who's introduced us to Claire, and we've just met Carl, our new R&D engineer type thing, replacing Chris this year, thank God, because he done my editing. But we're looking at the R&D right now just to see where we measure up. When it comes to engine, of course, the Mercedes engine in the back of this Force India, very strong. Aero, we are seriously lacking. We're only better than Alfa Romeo, Sauber and Williams, which is quite shocking to be honest with you. When it came to chassis, it wasn't much better. It wasn't much better. we're still towards the back of the grid. Once again, only Sauber and Williams behind us. But let's go ahead and jump into practice right now.
Welcome to our viewers from around the globe. You join us just as today's practice session for the Australian Grand Prix is about to start. We can see, of course, plenty of activity in the garages as we wait for the green light to get this session underway. Anthony Davidson, thank you for joining me once again. What are you going to be looking out for once the cars get out there on the circuit today?
Well, naturally, in any free practice session, you can never be sure exactly what programs the teams are running, how much fuel they've put in, and so on. So it's important to resist the temptation to draw any firm conclusions from the fastest times on the monitor. What we can do, however, is look for consistent pace over the course of multiple laps. So if someone does half a Grand Prix distance and they're consistently half a second quicker than another driver doing the same, then that's generally a good indicator of a car with a solid race pace.
Morning, Jeff here. I'm looking forward to working with you as your race engineer. Hope you've had a good night's sleep because we've got a lot of work to do today to prep for the season ahead. We're ready to fire up the car, so why not head out and get a few laps under your belt?
Yay! Jeff's still here to annoy me on the radio. Thank God Jeff is still here. Anyway, looking at the practice programs, it's pretty much the same as in F1 2017, apart from the new one, the ERS Management Practice Program, which I'm not gonna lie, I do not know how I'm gonna be able to cope with the ERS, because I've seen gameplay footage and it does look quite difficult. But we're gonna go ahead, jump into the track acclimatization. Remember, this is the first time I've done career mode without a racing line, and it took me 2 laps to get perfect on the track acclimatization. The tyre wear test, I was barely beating the time, and also when it came to the ERS, managed to get purple. Happy days, love it. Now we're gonna go into an interview.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. It's been a lot of hard work, but here you are making your debut in Formula One. You must be thrilled.
Answered this as good as I could. Yeah, it's been hard work. It doesn't stop.
So how are you finding things at the team? Are you settling in?
Well, you know, it's good to be here. You know, we're gonna try and settle in, do our best.
What are you expecting out of this season? Are you just aiming to find your feet in Formula One, or do you see something more?
Honestly, I answered this one, you know, just a generic, you know, they've put faith in me to bring the car home in the points.
Great, well that's everything.
So there we go. After all 3 practice sessions, the only practice program which we did not pass completely was the qualifying pace, where, you know, it's looking like I'm going to get 15th, but there's our reputation amongst Force India and the other teams on the grid. Now I'm excited to go ahead and dive straight into qualifying, so let's go to quali.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction, and over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong, and that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
Okay, so diving straight into our first flying lap in the season in the Force India, and this just is, this just shows how much of a rookie I am when it comes to the racing line being off. A terrible lockup into turn 3, losing us a lot of time. Now I didn't give up. The rest of the lap was pretty, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. So we come around the final corner to set a 124.8, which is not bad. It's not great though. Felt like I could definitely go faster, and as you can see through turn 1 and 2, gaining near enough a tenth, actually over a tenth now. And then we break down for turn 3, and this is where we gain the time, and you can see we're up by 3 tenths nearly. But there, and then through this right under, we just gain a load of time, and we're up by half a second. Now there's a car just ahead of me. Now that is the Toro Rosso Honda of Brendan Hartley. Now going on this lap, I knew that he wasn't on a flyer because of how quickly I was catching him. I was hoping he was not going to hold me up, because as you can see right now, we are on an absolute flyer. Now I did back off through the fast left right chicane, which did cost me a couple of tenths. I think I lost about 2 tenths there. And then coming into the final sector, you know, we're still up by 4 tenths, which is pretty decent. Up by 5 tenths momentarily, but coming around the final corner, it was a pretty shocking final corner, and we lost pretty much 2 tenths. But it gives us a 124.5. So as we are back in the pits, fast forwarding through the session, you're in P13 now. Everyone set their times. I'm not completely confident. And as we fast forward a little bit further, as soon as I saw that we dropped to 15th place, I was like, no, it's not good enough. Let's get a fresh set of ultra soft tyres on. Let's get back out there and see what we can do. So coming into the final sector, we are up by just over a tenth. But through this final corner, we gain near enough 2 tenths, correcting the mistake that we done earlier, and that is enough to get us in to Q2, currently in 12th place. So it's not bad, right? We're in this midfield fight, but as you can see, we got out qualified just about by Sergio Perez. But you know what, it's Q1, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was just about getting out of Q1. So obviously the 2 Saubers, the 2 Williams and Brendan Hartley being eliminated there. But here we are now in Q2, and we are going to set this flying lap, which is a 124.4, which isn't actually a bad lap. It's not a bad lap, but as you can see, I go quicker by a tenth in just the first 2 corners, so I'm feeling on it like the proverbial car bonnet, and then I completely lock up into turn 3 again, completely mess it up. I return to the garage to see how my times stack up against everyone else, and then I look at my teammates' times. Now he's the only one in the 125s right now, so Sergio, you gotta pick up the pace, my friend. So we're going to go ahead and go back up for one more flying lap. As you can see, we're up by half a second, but we get on the grass slightly, and that is the end of our qualifying. We've lost it in the beginning of sector 3. We've absolutely binned it. I do believe that that would have been enough to get us through, but here we are, starting 13th on the grid. So let's go ahead and let's get into the race.
New drivers, new cars and a new Formula One season. But it's the same Albert Park that we've come to know and love for more than 2 decades now that hosts the first round of a 21 race championship, taking us from here in Melbourne, Australia, across the globe before we eventually reach the season finale at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. Here's the track then, 16 corners, 6 to the left and 10 to the right. They make up the 3.3 miles around Albert Park Lake, with turn 1 and 3 providing the best opportunities to pass. We have plenty of changes to the sport this year, with the addition of new safety features, the return of France and Germany in an expanded 21 race calendar, and more tyre compounds than ever before. And of course, we have some big car manufacturers back in the sport too, with Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin returning as title sponsors for Sauber and Red Bull respectively. Joining me to take you through all the action of the 2018 Formula One season is Anthony Davidson. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Crofty. Always happy to be here. I'm looking forward to getting underway. Last year was Mercedes' 4th Constructors' title in a row, although for the first half of the season it was absolutely neck and neck with the Ferraris. Hopefully this year we can see the chasing pack take that final step, as I'd love to see a championship contest all the way up to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Another story to keep an eye on is the relative performance of McLaren and Toro Rosso, who have exchanged power unit suppliers this year. And given the additional restrictions on engine components, they need to be strong in terms of both performance and reliability.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, edging out Raikkonen, who'll start P2. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Vettel, Hülkenberg, Daniel Ricciardo and Verstappen, Alonso, Sainz, Magnussen and Roman Grosjean. Van Dorn, Bottas, Edwards and Gasly, Perez, Hartley, Marcus Ericsson and Charles Leclerc. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Keep your eyes open on the run to turn 1 and keep it clean. We want to come out in one piece. Good luck.
What a absolute madness qualifying was. Valtteri Bottas gets a 10-place grid penalty and drops back to just in front of me in P12, and Nico Hülkenberg out qualifying both Red Bulls. Guy was on a mission. But we're looking at the strategy right now, and it looks like the default one stop. I had a little tweak around, see what I could do with it, and you know, I feel I could take the super softs an extra lap. But here we go right now to the formation lap. We're gonna go around, see what we can do. We got Van Dorn and Grosjean just ahead of us, who were eliminated in Q2 with me, so they're gonna be on the same kind of strategy as me. Bottas, he's gonna have so much pace, it's gonna be insane to keep up with him. But here we go now towards the end of the formation lap, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to this race because I have no idea how my race pace will stack up against these guys, and I have no idea whether or not I'm going to make a massive mistake. But here we go, we got Bottas just ahead of us, Van Dorn right in front of us, Grosjean just down the road. I personally into this race, I feel like I'm racing those guys, and we go to 5 red lights. Lights out, and we are underway, and it's a pretty decent start, much better than my formation lap practice start. But here we go now into turn 1. We got a car on both sides of us actually, but we managed to make it through there no problem into turn 1 and 2. We got Bottas getting past Stoffel Van Dorn. We're going to dive it down the inside of both Bottas. We tried going down the inside this time, we was alongside him, but Sainz did not leave any room, and it has absolutely flustered us, and we have lost a place to Valtteri Bottas once again. But looking ahead, you see a little bit of carbon fibre flying off. Now, unfortunately, I did not get any replay footage, but I can confirm that both Carlos Sainz and Valtteri Bottas have front wing damage, which is how we were able to nip it down the inside of Bottas literally with ease. And now we're going to try to get onto the back of Carlos Sainz. As you can see, he's dropping off that little pack ahead of him of the Haas cars of Grosjean and Magnussen. But here we are on the back of Carlos Sainz. You can see the gap to Valtteri Bottas behind Sainz as well. So that just confirms that they both have front wing damage. But now here we are coming around the final corner of lap 1, and we are up into the points. P10, the only guy ahead of us on the same strategy as us is Roman Grosjean. So we're going to try to hunt him down and try to get back at him. So we're going to see what we can do. As we move on to the end of that lap, you can see Magnussen and Alonso going side by side into turn 1. and we have closed right up to this little pack. Couldn't make any kind of move into turn 1, but we're going to chill, see what we can do, have a little look from behind as we got Grosjean going down the inside of Alonso. Alonso being absolutely squeezed out by both Haas cars, and yep, Grosjean's gone and done it. Grosjean is now up into P8, Alonso down to P9, and we almost lose the back end actually on that curb, which is a thing in this game which we've all got to look out for. The curbs in this game are absolutely lethal, but we're going to stick behind Alonso. It looks like he's got a little bit of trouble with the brakes right there, you know, a bit of smoke puffing off, indicating that he has locked up. But look at the speed that we get to nip it down the inside of the fast left-right chicane around the outside. DRS open, rich mix flowing high on the ERS, and we are past. We are now up into P9, coming on to the end of lap 3. Now any hope I've got of gaining some points has got to be early on right here, and you can see the gap behind Alonso to, I believe that is Bottas, just overtaking Carlos Sainz as the dot changed from yellow to blue. But moving on now to midway through lap 4, and we are right on the back of Grosjean, who is also right on the back of Nico Hulkenberg. Now are we going to make a pop? Yes, we are, down the inside, squeeze him out, and that's a lovely little move. And now we are first of the super soft runners from Q2, which is what I wanted. I want to be the first guy of those in Q2. As we got Ferrari coming into the pits, we are trying to close up with DRS on Nico Hulkenberg. I believe he's going to have DRS on Magnussen ahead, but we're going to see what we can do. And we have a little bit of a look, but it would have been a foolish kind of dive into turn 3 there. So we're going to stick behind Hulkenberg for the time being. In fact, we stick behind him until he makes his pit stop, as we move on now to lap 8, and literally we're kind of in no man's land. There's a yellow flag up ahead, and this is going to be for my teammate Sergio Perez, who is going very slowly. I think he has got a puncher, which is unfortunate, but it's good for me in terms of the rivalry. And literally the following lap, we are coming around to lap Sergio Perez again, and I think Perez is the reason that the virtual safety car has come out, and now Sergio will pop into the pits. Fair play, mate, fair play. You managed to do a lap on a flat tyre. Now Magnussen has also gone into the pits, and Hamilton also into the pits. He has now just come out, and because Hamilton's just pitted on the virtual safety car, he has actually gained a little bit more than what was expected. But we on lap 10 have taken the lead of the Australian Grand Prix, but it does not take too long for Lewis Hamilton to get all over the back of us. Here he goes, the following lap in DRS. I'm not even going to fight it. I know what's about to happen. Hamilton around the outside. We're not going to make it easy for him, but we know when the fight is over. We know our fight, and it's not with the Mercedes, it is not with the Ferraris, it is with that guy right behind me, Romain Grosjean. And then the following lap, lap 12, we got Kimi Räikkönen behind us and a yellow flag ahead of us, and it's going to be for Lewis Hamilton, who has retired from the Australian Grand Prix. The first person to retire is Lewis Hamilton. Absolutely madness of a thing that's happening right now. This has literally just completely destroyed Mercedes, because Bottas had front wing damage earlier on in the race. He's been nowhere near this fight at the top, and now Hamilton is out of the Grand Prix, and I've got Kimi Räikkönen in a Ferrari all over the back of me. He is looking very dangerous, I think he might try a pop by here. No, he sticks behind. He's going to wait for DRS. And obviously he's going to be in a higher ERS fuel, ERS mode than myself. He might actually be in rich mix right now, but he doesn't pass me with the DRS or into any of those corners. He waits for the first straight, and I brake a little bit early just to let him go. I know my fight is not with the Ferraris. Kimi Raikkonen, you may go, my friend. And now we got Sebastian Vettel going around our outside. We're going to brake a little bit early, let Sebastian go. And you may have noticed that Grosjean is no longer there. That's because he has literally just come in to the pits. So Roman Grosjean's going to have a bit of an undercut on me as we move on to the end of the lap. We are diving into the pits right now for our one and only pit stop onto the soft tyres to go to the end of the race. We get slowed down just in time. A little bit slower than what I expected actually, because it went down to 20 instead of 37. But here we go onto the soft tyres. Verstappen goes past, Ricciardo goes past, Magnussen goes past. We got Gasly who's in behind us. Alonso coming down the straight right now. He's going to go past us, and there goes Grosjean as well. Grosjean has made the undercut work for him, and he has absolutely bolted past. But we are out in P8. We got Nico Hulkenberg behind us, who is on a 2-stop race right now. So I wasn't concerned. And also then we had Ricciardo making a pit stop coming out behind us. So we are now up into P7. You may have noticed it's taken 10 laps for us to get anywhere near Grosjean. For the past 10 laps, me and Grosjean have been trading lap times back and forth. I've literally only been gaining on him for the past couple of laps, while Ricciardo has been storming towards me. So I thought, okay, I'm going to be a little bit clever here. I'm going to let Daniel Ricciardo go. He's much faster than me. Hopefully he can go catch Alonso, catch Grosjean, and slow them up by going side by side and having a battle with them. And then I can come in and gain some extra points. But back in P8 right now, Van Dorn 7 seconds behind, and now he's just been overtaken by, well, actually no, it's a yellow flag up ahead because Sebastian Vettel has also retired. And this is insane. It's insane. The two main guys, Vettel and Hamilton, are both out of this Grand Prix, and I think that means Kimi Raikkonen is gonna win with ease. And I don't know where Max Verstappen is in all this, but he's got to be ahead of this pack. But as we move on to lap 27, my plan is working. As you can see, Ricciardo has caught up to Grosjean, and he is going side by side with Roman Grosjean, but he gets ahead of him. Grosjean is going to have a nice little look, but he doesn't make nothing happen. And we are right on the back of Roman Grosjean. We've got 2.5 laps to go. We got the speed on Grosjean. Can we send it down the inside of the left right hander? Yes, we do. A little bit of contact made, but now we got DRS, and hopefully we got the speed, but Grosjean is able to keep it ahead, and we got to accept that. We got to accept that and just back out of it, because it would have been a foolish attempt to try and squeeze around the outside. It would have been, because he had me pretty much in a position where it was either hit the wall or back out. But here we go, as we go on to lap 28, DRS open, and we are closing back once again on Roman Grosjean for what will be now P6 in the Grand Prix, thanks to Sebastian Vettel's retirement. But here we go down the inside for turn 3, and we are squeezing him out, and we have made our move work, and we are up into P6, getting a bit wide onto the curbing. Not what you want to happen, but this is going to be where we finish the Grand Prix. Kimi Raikkonen has gone on to win, and we're not surprised, but we come through with a fantastic 6th place in this Grand Prix, and Ricciardo sets the fastest lap at the same time. Fantastic result, guys. Fantastic.
Great effort there from Ferrari to take the victory today. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
Well, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day, the overtaking, looking after the tyres, but at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else, and that's exactly what they had today.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
Well, there we go. An absolute madness of a race. That was two of the big names DNF, and we got Kimi Räikkönen winning, Verstappen second, and Kevin Magnussen, K-Mag, up in the podium. I can't believe it, but Valtteri Bottas did come back to gain some points for Mercedes, but unfortunately it just wasn't meant to be. And I'm not gonna lie, Anthony did just say I got driver of the day, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I was a little bit nervous, I was, but it's nice to know that my hard work did pay off. But here we are. We got 8 points to our name in the championship, and we are loving life. So let's go to another interview.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled.
Oh, the team are over the moon. Don't worry about it. We've got a great team.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
Honestly, the engine power made the difference for us.
You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip?
I was definitely struggling for grip. Unfortunately, the car just feels heavy at the moment. It really does.
Appreciate your time.
Okay, so here we are right now onto the rivalry, and not to be expected, but we absolutely destroyed Sergio Perez in our race. We are leading the rivalry 5 points to 4, and we get some R&D for this as well. Now, unfortunately, I lost the footage of me purchasing my R&D upgrades. Now, what I've done, I've purchased a minor chassis upgrade and a major aerodynamic upgrade and a durability upgrade for the general way, which will come into effect at the next Grand Prix in Bahrain. So, we got 2 upgrades on the way, which should help us should help us move forward, right? We need the aero package to be great, and we need the chassis package to get better. So if you guys enjoyed episode 1, where us getting P6 in our first Grand Prix without a racing line, drop a like down. And for more F1 content coming soon on the channel, don't forget to drop a subscribe. I've been Mike, and you've been watching F1 2018 Career Mode.